Welcome to Cultural Vibes. I'm Vrithika, joined by Sid and... Wait, are you singing Havana again?
Huh? Oh, is it my turn? Oh, sorry. Camila Cabello just hits different.
For good reason. Let's get into this episode. Today, we're tracing the life and music of Camila Cabello Estraballo, the artist who performs as Camila Cabello, and how her songs, especially Havana, reflect migration, memory, and culture.
Camila Cabello was born in Havana, Cuba on March 3, 1997. Her mother is Cuban and her father is Mexican. As a child, she moved between Cuba and Mexico, then immigrated with her mother to Miami at age 6, a journey that shaped her and her sense of home.
That early mix of places and languages set the stage for her identity as an artist who bridges cultures, and for the tension she later puts into her music.
Wait, how did she get popular in the first place?
Great question, Vrithika. Camila's first public performance was dramatic. She was auditioning for Simon Cowell's X Factor, her first time in front of a live audience. That audition launched her into the public eye.
From there, she joined Fifth Harmony. In the group, she started to learn about songwriting and production, developing the skills she would use as a solo artist. But the group dynamic also highlighted her personal voice.
In 2017, she left Fifth Harmony to pursue a solo career. She collaborated widely, refined her sound, and then released her debut single, Havana, which topped charts worldwide and cemented her status as a global pop star. From Professor Moore's reading, it reminds me of Pedro Infante, the iconic Mexican singer who gained fame in the mid-20th century through radio and film. Just as broadcasting technology spread Infante's music across Latin America, modern platforms like streaming and social media allow Camila Cabello to reach global audiences. Both show how advances in media can turn cultural sounds like Cuban music, in Cabello's case, into worldwide success.
That's the arc, from immigrant child to reality show audition, to girl group member to solo artist, and everything in between feeds her music.
What's the story about Havana?
Let's talk about the song itself. On the surface, Havana is a catchy pop with Latin flavor. Lyrically, it's anchored by emotional attachment to her birthplace. She sings about a romantic encounter. Meeting a bad boy who pulls her away. Yet repeatedly declares,
That lyric captures a conflict, past versus present, roots versus new experiences. She can be in love with someone or somewhere else and still feel pulled back toward where she came from. It's both a personal memory and a broader immigrant story.
Musically, the song supports this narrative. It's in G minor with an 1-6-5 progression and the occasional fifth major for lift and the minor for longing. The hook is repeated vocally and instrumentally. So the feeling lodges into the listener's ear.
What's the musical anatomy for her song Havana?
Rhythm and texture matter. The rhythm is mid-tempo with Latin-influenced syncopation and a swaying groove, backed by Cuban-style percussion. That groove conjures more than a literal lyric can.
Instrumentation layers such as Latin-style piano riffs, brass that carries the hook, and a mix of electronic pop backing with organic percussion and acoustic touches. Vocals and stacked harmonies sit on top. Simple pop structure but with cultural signifiers woven in.
Structurally, it's standard pop. Intro, verse 1, pre-chorus, chorus, Young Thug's feature, bridge, and outro. The production choices make those sections land as both radio-friendly and culturally resonant. It's what makes Havana fall into the genre of salsa-inspired mid-tempo pop and Latin song with R&B pop beats.
On top of that, Young Thug's feature adds to the flavor. His rap verse shifts the energy, pulling the track further into hip-hop territory. It's playful and contrasts with Camila's smoother, melodic delivery. But wait, how does she deal with the cultures between her family and her culture from Atlanta?
This is a great place to unpack inherited versus learned culture. Inherited culture is what you receive. Language, family rituals, and values passed down. For Camila, that's Cuban and Mexican traditions from family and childhood.
Learned culture develops through new experiences, school, new communities, industry pressures. Moving to Miami, exposure to U.S. pop culture in the music business teach practices and styles that weren't inherited but adopted.
That collaboration is symbolic. A Cuban American pop singer and an Atlantic rapper meeting in the same song. Doug's verses situates Camila's immigrant story in a broader cultural landscape of the U.S. South, a reminder that diaspora identities evolve in dialogue with other American musical traditions.
So his role isn't just guest hype. This was mentioned in Professor Moore's textbook in Revelry and Revolution. It reinforces the theme of blending places and cultures, as Cuban culture is continuing to be used by performers to develop an audience for an underrepresented culture.
As Cuba blends with U.S. culture, so does U.S. culture blend into Cuba. And Camila brings Cuban music to an international audience. Young Thug brings his voice and culture to Cuba.
Her music sits at an intersection, inherited memory informing tone and content, learned practices shaping presentation and reach. But how did the song Havana impact the visibility of Cuba?
So there's a tension when personal culture becomes a commercial product. Artists often need to dedicate songs to a wider audience to succeed, which can flatten nuance. Havana amplifies certain cultural markers, trumpet, percussion, lyrical nods, so gentrified mainstream pop audiences and Latin music fans recognize the origin story.
But that visibility also matters. For many listeners who share similar roots, hearing those elements on global radio is a form of representation. The question is whether the commercial packaging preserves authenticity or reduces it to aesthetic.
Both things can be true. Increased representation and problematic simplification can coexist.
What does Havana and Camila Cabello mean in the larger context?
Zooming out, in America, migration and assimilation often cause communities to lose inherited cultural forms. Gentrification compounds that by erasing the neighborhoods where those cultures are lived and passed on.
So songs like Havana operate on two levels, personal memory and cultural claim, against a backdrop where lived cultures are under pressure.
And that wraps up Camila Cabello's story and Havana, which reminds us that music can carry memory, identity, and contradiction, longing for a place while navigating new ones.
If this episode resonated with you, tell us which songs make you think of home.
Subscribe to Cultural Vibes. Thanks for listening. We'll be back next week.